Hey everybody, it's Gail, and I want to introduce you to the project that was the bane of my existence in 2022. Just a sort of we're almost done with the year. Let's, look back and ponder. And here it is. And you may be thinking to yourself, Gail, that's a really cute lacy tank top. It looks like it wouldn't be particularly difficult. And you're right. The stitch work itself is not particularly difficult. The build is not difficult. It's a front and a back, and then you sew them together. I added this little extra bit at the bottom here. And if you look at the original pattern, which is from the Robin Yarn Company in the UK from the 1970s, you will see that it has sleeves. And they are very cute sleeves. They match the lace pattern on the bottom here, which, enjoy that close-up, these it's a very 70s pattern, flowy and open, and I made this out of Knit Picks gloss fingering, and so you've got this great drape and swish, and I can't put it on yet because it is for the aspiration wardrobe, so it does not actually fit over my bust right now. It will in a few months, but it's cute. It's a lot of repeats. It's very simple. Absolutely. But the reason it doesn't have sleeves on my version is because I started them 3 different times and my numbers never worked out, and that doesn't usually stop me, except that this cute little pattern for the size 34 bust has 9 mistakes. 9. And that is a lot. I've worked with a lot of patterns, a lot of modern patterns. I've clearly spent a lot of time with vintage patterns this year as well. And commonly, you get maybe 1 or 2 mistakes. Even in big patterns. It's a couple of mistakes that just got by an editor because we're human. But 9. And I ended up putting everything down and going through the pattern line by line, just absolutely fascinated by what happened. And the answer was that the starting chain for the size 34 bust is 111 chains. But then you skip the first 5 chains and you work the pattern over 106 chains. However, at some point in the writing and editing of this pattern, everybody forgot that you skip those first 5 chains. And so you end up with this pattern that has this consistent level of error because everyone keeps going back and going, okay, we have 111 stitches, we're skipping this many stitches to start this. Okay, we have this many groups of stitches to work. And then repeating that same error over and over. And it's deeply fascinating to me as a pattern designer, as a tech writer, as the person who had to frog this adorable, simple tank top so many goddamn times. I didn't have to frog it all the way, but I had to restart rows a lot. And so it led me to the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna fight the instructions on the sleeves to figure out what's happening, because it could be me. Genuinely, because that's one of those, work evenly around, start the pattern. And I'm not always great at that. So I was like, this could be a me problem. But also, I don't trust this pattern at all. So fuck it. I'm gonna have a cute fucking tank top instead of a cute fucking, lacy sleeve top. And I mean, by God, it worked. It's fine. It's cute. It's gonna fit. I can actually get it on my shoulders. It just doesn't cover anything on my bust. It's very funny. But at the same time, I love the look of this. I can't wait to wear it. I have written down all of the mistakes that I found and put corrections, and they are on my blog on the Vintage Pattern Errata page. I will link directly to that page. Right now, it's just a list of various mistakes I found. Oh, hi, Miss Bane. In various patterns. And you will see that all the other entries are it's 1 mistake. And then there's the huge section just for this little tank top. And, hi. I'm filming. Oh. Alright, come here. Here, you can be on the camera. And so it's just a really, I just find it to be fascinating. But the other thing I do want to say about this, I've put the corrections up. I've linked to an Etsy where you can buy the pattern if you want to try it. It is something that is totally doable. I think especially with my corrections. I think you color corrected the whole video, Miss Bean. Amazing. But I do want to just remind you that when you were buying vintage patterns, or, if you're on Free Vintage Crochet, downloading vintage patterns for free, because that's an amazing library of patterns. But if you're buying vintage patterns off Etsy or eBay or whatever, just please remember that it is not the responsibility of the seller of those patterns to go through every single one line by line and make sure there aren't errors. I have seen people who have marked down sellers because, there's an error in the pattern, or, the pattern is difficult because the terminology is out of date. That is not the fault of the seller. What the seller is doing is providing you the chance to work with a pattern that you clearly liked enough to buy. And it can be difficult to work with vintage patterns when the terminology is different or there's an error and you're not quite sure what to do about it. But do not mark down a seller, and do not send a complaint email to someone like the people who run Free Vintage Crochet if you find errors in a pattern that they are making available to you. Just don't do it. It's just so rude. I find it very, very rude. But anyway, that pattern was the bane of my existence, and I would hold it up one more time, but she's sitting on it now, and, I'm not going to make the princess move. She's the princess. Bean, can you look at the camera? Hey. Hi, yeah. Yes, she's very cute. She wants to be, in my lap, and so she's going to be in my face until I allow it, which, of course I'm going to allow it. I just got to finish the video. So I'm going to go and spoil my dog. Please, I would love to see what was the bane of your existence this year, if you would like to leave a comment. And as always, if you like what I do, subscribe, share, etc. I have no posting schedule because that would require planning. And that's not what this channel is for. So I'll be back at some point. I hope you all have a happy new year. May 2023 be kinder, softer, and nicer to us all. My 2022 was wild. If you have not watched the video about my gallbladder surgery, big recommend in terms of understanding what my 2022 was like. Anyway, I will talk to you all soon. Happy stitching.